Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Brenda. You're all right this morning?
Thank you. You?
Yes, thank you.
Good. So I wanted to chat with you because the other week now you did a session at the In Business Networking Group where you talked about DISC profiles. And when you were talking, it got me thinking, I'm pretty sure there's a link between DISC profiling and strategic planning, in the sense that you almost need somebody with each profile to make the strategic planning process work and execute your strategy. Because I was thinking, I know when we've discussed before, and I'll get you to explain the profiles in a minute, I'm very much a high I, which have very much big picture, get really excited by all the ideas and the energy behind that. But when it comes to actually then putting a detailed plan in place and executing it, I'm kind of not as strong as that because it's not my forte. So it got me thinking you do need somebody from each of the four. You want to just go through each of the four for the viewers, and then we'll have a chat about it.
Yeah, I mean, and just picking up, I think in any kind of business planning, strategy, team kind of modelling, it's always good to have a balance of different strengths and supporting factors. And DISC profiling is one of the ways of thinking about those strengths and supporting factors. And each individual will bring with it different, different strengths. So we're talking DISC about the D, the I, the S, and the C. And in each of these are called profiling factors. And if people have them as strengths, they mean one thing. And if people have them as supporting factors, they mean something different. But we tend to focus them on strengths in the first place. So our high D means dominance. And our dominant individual will drive for results. They'll be wanting to take the business forward. They'll be looking for goals and achieving results, and real self-starters, so prepared to really take risks sometimes and just have a go at things and see if they'll work. But they'll be a very telling kind of person, just get on and do it without really any explanation sometimes, or bringing people with them. That's where the high I might come in. So our high I person is quite a strategic thinker, like you described yourself very well. Can see lots of big picture ideas, will visualize things and be quite creative. But that high I individual, they can really bring people with them, bring people on board. Now, the key thing though is that the high I has to believe in the first place. Probably know that yourself, that if somebody's asked you to lead something actually you don't agree with, then you're probably going to be the last person to try and bring other people on board. You possibly could be a bit divisive actually. We have to balance out the kind of strengths with some of the observational factors that go with that as well. So our high D and I, they'll be very energetic, creative ideas off the ground, but we need some support factors in place to be able to program manage things, to bring things to fruition, to complete a finisher is what it's called in some team models. But our high S for steadiness. These individuals that have our IS traits tend to be naturally in a support and service role. So within a business environment, within a kind of office environment, strategic planning, they'll hold the pen on the project. They'll write the map, the roadmap, the timeline, the programming. And finally, our high Cs. Now, these are the people that the Ds and the Is think get in the way. So they're the ones that look at the detail, look at the analysis. They'll be saying, oh, boss, do you know that's going to cost us like £500 million to implement that? At the end of the day, it'll be the high C that'll really help us understand return on investment.
Yeah.
So if the project's running wild, they will try and kind of help understand and build into the process that great idea, great change, let's run away with it, but are we getting anything back from it? So our C's are our facts, figures, analysis kind of people. So together, all of those strength factors form kind of a great team to some extent.
Yeah, and when you're talking there, I can very much relate that back to when I worked for Building Society. And you're right, you had each of those functions and you would come together. I guess if you're a small business, you might not have the luxury of having all that. So you've almost got to find the people in your organisation with those profiles, maybe bring them together as a small team to help you develop and execute your strategy, really, or bring in outside people.
I was going to say, you Brenda, I know you've worked with a few clients that I know, and that's about that facility, helping people when we're in our own businesses, we can get really ground down in our own detail. And I have a lot of C in my profile, so I would need you to draw out my kind of ideas out of me, because I'd be busy analysing again. So within the organisation, and maybe bring in some members of the team, the wider team, to facilitate conversation. You will tend to find quite a lot of leaders are high D, high I. It's common to find a high I in a leadership role or a high D. And you'll often find that S and C isn't high focus in that type of role. So you do need that support function around you, whether it be internal or whether it be external support and facilitation sometimes.
Yeah. I put together, after we talked, a little diagram. Can I just share it with you?
Yeah.
Useful. Screen. Yeah, so this is, I guess, around the outside is what I'd say is all part of the strategic planning process. Starting off with your strong leadership, leading into the actual development or the formulation of the strategy, backed up by a lot of insight. So what your customers want, what your competitors are doing. Then you actually need to plan it out. Make sure the engagement, you've got everybody on board behind you and it's all aligned and working together. You need the right people on board, you need the right team, you need the right culture. Then moving around, you need to make sure you're reporting on it as well. So you're not just executing it without making sure there's points along the way where it is actually working. So that's where all your KPIs and your measures and reporting comes in. You need to always make sure and be looking at the strategic risks. So is it the right strategy for your business? Has the environment changed? Has something changed which is putting you at risk? That leads you back around to all the analysis you need to do again. And then it goes full circle. And in the middle, there's a lot of things why strategies can fail and not be executed. And that tends to be there's a lack of focus, a lack of energy, a lack of understanding because it's not being shared properly, a lack of accountability, nobody's taking ownership, a lack of follow-up in terms of the reporting, and just general lack of flexibility in the organisation to move and shift with the times and keep reviewing their strategy. So what I've tried to do is put your DISC profiles kind of around this. It kind of fits, I've kind of had to manipulate it a bit, but I think from what you've said, your Ds are probably up there in terms of the strategic leadership. They're the ones that are driving, they're ambitious, they're goal orientated, they want to do the best for their business. The I's probably come in terms of the development because they're the ones that are coming up with the ideas. But we kind of need the C's just to make sure there's some data and analysis and facts and figures backing up all those big ideas. Your S person's then the one that's quite methodical. It can actually steady and plan it out and put the sort of logic behind it. As you said, you need your I's to engage the people and bring them along on the journey with you. They're the ones that are really going to show the passion and get that energy. Your talent is probably back to your D's, so making sure that the D person's getting the right people on board with them. Your S, again, is your reporting. They're the ones that are just reporting the facts and the figures. And then your C's, like we've talked about, are the ones that are going to point out the risks. And I think it all balances out really well. And I definitely think there's something in that. There's something there for businesses to think about.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I mean, I love that diagram that you just shared, and that rawness of the profiles is great to always narrow down and think of it in that way. Most people have 2 factors in the profile that are strengths. So you'll come across something that we call a DC. So they will have that drive, but they'll have a little bit of analysis. You'll have some very pure Ds, you'll have some very pure Cs. And it's kind of a combination of everything working together. But I know we've talked before about the word strategy and how it can feel complex sometimes. So that model, again, just tells us that it's just about getting a good balance of people together, focusing on some plans, some insights, some ideas, and making sure that we're not lacking energy and that we're bringing people along with us. And that's the very simplicity.
Yeah, making it happen, bringing it to life.
Yeah. I think understanding your team and knowing what your team's made up of when you're embarking on something like this. So I had a team in the past where I had quite a lot of eyes in the team, a lot of S's. So it felt sometimes like constantly me pushing to drive for results. And then I had another client where everybody was D, really driven, really dominant, really direct. My poor accountant who was a high C, and that person was the one that was always, trying to check everybody in the realistic picture of the facts and the figure. So to have such a dominant team of all red, kind of high, boisterous kind of high Ds isn't probably going to be the best way to take the business forward.
No. Yeah. Especially, I think if you think about recruitment, there's a tendency to recruit people like you, but in actual fact, you should be recruiting people that are not like you, so you do get that rounded team.
I've never, though, you kind of spoke to me after I'd done the in business, I've never thought about it with strategic planning in mind before, and it's been really interesting just to explore that and how the profiles link into the strategic planning of a business.
Yeah. So I guess if there's any businesses out there that are wanting to find out more, they can get in touch with either of us or both of us, and we can come out and visit them and talk to them about how we can use this in their business.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Thanks.
Really enjoyed that this morning.
Me too. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Brenda.
See you later. Bye.